I thrive in chaos. If I'm not frantically busy and overwhelmed, then I don't feel productive.
Right.
I love life. I enjoy life. I see life as a blessing. The simplicities of it, which honestly, grace is what will reflect and mirror your level of happiness. Because we're never going to have everything. I've never cared just about money. I care about wealth. Happiness is the greatest part of what makes someone wealthy.
Welcome. I'm here with Ace Christian and his better half, Caden. Your son is here at the Get Busy podcast. I am really happy to be able to talk to both of you this morning. I want to talk to you. I watched a bunch of podcasts you were on last night, and I've sort of followed your career. One of the things that is so cool about what you do is not only are you impacting, the artists that you work with, Cordae, you manage. Yeah. You have a really good head for business, right? Like when you're being interviewed, it's not all, hip hop and rock. You're talk about branding. You talk about, leveraging relationships, I think was one of the topics on a podcast. Yeah. And I want to talk to you about your journey as an entrepreneur and an artist. Like, how did you was this a lifelong dream? Was it a lifelong dream for you, Caden?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, for having us. Thank you for having us here.
Of course.
Excited to be here. No, to be honest with you, it wasn't at all. I was a Division I basketball player. I played basketball my whole life. And I honestly, going into my junior year, did not know what I wanted to do when I graduated college. I just knew that I love people. I believe in people, believe it or not. I believe that there's far more good than bad in the world, regardless of what anybody says. Nobody can convince me otherwise. I love traveling, learning and seeing new places. I believe that it gives you intricate perspective about yourself when you can see and be exposed to other people, lifestyles, cultures, and places. And I knew that I wanted to wake up and go to sleep knowing that neither day would be the same. Right. And so when I put those ingredients and necessities in front of me when I was in my junior year in college, I said, okay, how do I put all this together? I had no clue. There was no answer for that. Right. I had a biology major and I turned it into a minor because as I got deeper into the not course, but the major, I guess you could say, the practice, I started realizing that it was going to be very hard for me to balance that with basketball. There just wasn't enough time in the day for me to do both and excel at a high level. So I turned it into my minor. I started doing what every athlete does. I majored in communications. Right. What the hell is that? Right. Like, what is that?
Right.
And when I graduated, I reached out to Wyclef Jean, who was a mutual friend. We shared a mutual friend. And I was like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? And he's like, thank God he was leaving his presidential run in Haiti. So that was a catastrophe. And he's like, yeah, I'm coming back to music. My deal's done with Sony. So I'm going to go independent. I'm going to start my own independent label. And I'm like, dude, I would love to be a part of it. And he said, I would love to have you a part of it, but aren't you playing basketball? And I said, I feel like it's run its course. Basketball is what I've done. It's not who I am. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of athletes, especially Black athletes, they define themselves by the sport that they play, and they can't really even imagine or envision themselves outside of that sport. And for me, it just wasn't like that. I'm fortunate enough to say that I've had a great supporting cast growing up, a family, friends, community.
What was the moment where you said, this is not my calling for the rest of my life?
I think my junior year, when I was excelling on a national level statistically, and I wasn't enjoying the journey of practicing anymore. Yeah. Because practicing in any facet, in any compartment of life is how we're going to excel and continue to grow. So it was a moment of realization, honestly, for me, where I said, I think I can see myself not playing basketball professionally, and I will be totally fine with that. Yeah. In fact, the vision of myself playing basketball professionally overseas, that actually scared me more.
Why?
Than not knowing what to do.
Why did that scare you more?
Because as I started playing at such a high level at a very young age 13 years old, I'm jumping on buses
Yeah.
from downtown.
That's
I'm
a
from
lot.
outside of Boston.
Yeah.
And all
That's a lot.
like 13 or 14-year-old friends and 15 to 16-year-old friends who are, they're smoking, like they're drinking, like, they're partying, they're hooking up with girls and everything, just normal middle school and high school stuff. But for me, I was walking out of school downtown 1.5 miles to go catch a bus to Providence, Rhode Island to play for the best team in New England so that I would have the best chance at exposure that would hopefully carry me into the next phase of my career, which was going to be high school.
Yeah.
And, it did. I ended up attending prep school rather than a public school. So I think that was the point when I realized I didn't want to do it anymore, because I was able to look back at my journey, how far I'd come, and I just realized, dude, I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
I was burnt out.
That's hard,
It wasn't
like,
fun anymore. I liked the games because I love competition.
Right.
But I didn't like the sacrifice anymore that came behind it. And the majority of everything we do are the things that people don't see. It's not the games we play,
And you said a second ago, you when you were changing majors and figuring out how to, balance the basketball part of your life, you said, I just wanted something where no 2 days were the same.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like, that is such an entrepreneur's perspective, right? Because it implies chaos, right? Right, like an unknown.
That's a really good point.
Right. So tell me why, like, what is it about you and your journey that you don't want to? And I am so with you. I've never been able to articulate it as beautifully as you just did. But tell me the why about that.
I love life. I enjoy life. I see life as a blessing. You know what I mean? The simplicities of it, which honestly, grace is what will reflect and mirror your level of happiness, because we're never going to have everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
So focusing on what you got. And for me, I think just knowing that in this life, I'm truly living.
Yeah.
I don't like repetition.
Yeah.
For some people, it's very, very necessary.
Important, right.
Yeah, it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's like air and water to them. But for me, you said the word chaos. I thrive in chaos.
I do too.
If I'm not frantically busy and overwhelmed, then I don't feel productive.
Right.
And that, it's embedded in my DNA.
Yeah.
My mother always laughs, and even to this day, she tells people and tells me, why do you always need to be getting up? Why do you always need to be running around doing stuff?
Right,
Can't you just sit down? Can't you just relax? Can't you just hang out at home? You just got here, back home in Boston. Why do you need to be running around? Why can't you just kick your feet up, put on a movie or something? I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm losing time.
Yeah.
Instead of spending time.
Don't you think that's been part of, because what you decided to do with your career is not an easy choice, right? And having that kind of energy where you thrive with a high-paced vibe, right? Do you think that is a part, because you are an entrepreneur and you started your own business and you manage these artists, including Cordae, and you're a brand builder. Like if you're somebody who's in a box, who does like the sameness and symmetry of doing the same, I don't think you would be able to do what you have done so far.
I think being an entrepreneur it's kind of like what you said, honestly. Like that word chaos is it's so fitting.
Yeah.
When you think of what makes an entrepreneur. And I think that there are many roles, responsibilities, and job descriptions that can be developed. But I think that to be an entrepreneur, you are born.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain spirit and mentality that comes with it.
Some people think that you can be made into an entrepreneur.
Absolutely
I disagree,
not. No,
right?
No.
Right?
Those people end up unhappy.
Yeah,
we were just talking about Hawaii. One of my good friends comes from a very, very, very prestigious American family, billionaire family. He up and left the family business like 7 years ago, moved to Hawaii, doesn't tell anyone who his family is, where he comes from, works at the Turtle Bay Resort in the North Shore.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, and he surfs. He's a white guy from upstate New York. He surfs every day, hooks up with girls.
Yeah.
Like he eats sushi, and he loves it. He loves it. He wouldn't have changed it for the world. He was not meant to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
The rest of his family lineage has been. But for him, he just wanted the simple life. And showing up every day with a boss, working at a hotel resort, as opposed to creating a deca-millionaire life for himself that he had laid out for him, that's more enticing and more enjoyable to him.
Yeah.
And so I think that in the same exact sense, that's what made me want to be an entrepreneur, is because my mindset, my spirit, my interests, they are that of an entrepreneurial nature.
Right.
You know, whereas my friend, for example, it just is not. And
Right.
so when you lean into what attracts your spirit, there lies the destiny and fate of your career.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I believe.
And also that what you just said a second ago, you know, if you are forcing yourself into entrepreneurship or creativity or whatever it is, what you said was so profound, because you're like, these people will not be happy.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, one of the things, watching your podcast interviews and reading some of the stories about you and your career, is that you have been very true to yourself. And that accounts for why you're happy. And
that means a lot to me, you saying that.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's very apparent when you watch the interviews, and sort of like you know, how you know what you stand for, and happiness and balance is really important to you. And, you know, it's cool to be an entrepreneur, and it's really cool to be, actually, let's just take a pause here and explain to the people who are listening to us, who are startups and entrepreneurs, dreamers, chasers, all of this, seekers, like what it is you exactly do, right? Because I sort of skipped that part.
Yeah.
So let's fill in that gap, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm a music manager, so I manage talent, artists. I've represented several brands since, I would say, over the past 8 years. My good friend Robert, actually, who connected us, he's someone who believed in me very early on when I first got out of college, and is one of the first people from a business sense who I actually met in California, where I ended up moving. And one of those brands that I worked with that I really helped build and develop is RRAW rolling papers. It's the biggest smoking brand in the world. It's a hemp paper brand. So it promotes and provides a product of clean, healthy smoking.
Right.
And even when I look back on that, I'm not a smoker. I don't smoke. I've never been a weed smoker or a cigarette smoker or anything. Cigar smoke, I'm just not into it. But that even felt true to who I am, because I knew that I was pushing a cool product that I could help contribute into converting it as a lifestyle product.
Yeah.
Much like a Monster Energy or a Red Bull, or those are a part of people's lifestyles.
Yeah.
You know, well, so isn't smoking. But I liked the fact that it wasn't tobacco, which is cancerous and harmful.
Right.
So even when I look back on that, that wasn't something that I thought of and really digested. But I do realize now in hindsight that the reason why I aligned myself with the brand and Josh, who's the owner of it, he and the brand that he created, they're completely aligned with each other. Yeah. Probably to no surprise, which is that it's authentic.
Yeah, that's the whole authentic thing.
Yeah, and it serves a real true purpose for the benefit of people in society. And like I told you earlier, I actually do care about people. I care about the things I do, the people I work for, represent, the product I sell. And like one of the new clients that I manage now is Myles Minnick. He's a Christian rapper. He's from the Bay, and my girl's from the Bay. So, you know, E40's my mentor. He's from the Bay. So there's so much familiarity, ties, and interest that I have with the Bay Area, and then with me being someone of religious faith and belief, that was something that I wanted to align myself with. I wanted to manage something like that because I believe that it's revolutionary. I know that it sheds light and positivity on the world, and there needs to be more of that. And it's the medicine and the candy. When you look at him perform and you hear his music, it just sounds like Bay Area sounding music.
Right.
You know, but it's pushing a product in a cool way so that it's easily digestible, and it makes people more receptive to want to listen to it and support it. So that's the newest product. I hate to call it. I can't believe he's gonna hear that.
It's people, right?
That's the newest. Yeah, that's the newest. That's the newest. That's the newest thing I've been working on, and I'm really excited about it because it's putting me just in rooms, in environments full of other like-minded people who kind of exert positivity throughout their daily lives.
How do you like, you're in the business of brand building, right? Whether it's people or product, rolling paper, whatever it is. What, from your experience, which is not insignificant, right? Like, and you've worked very hard for what you have now. What makes a great brand? How do you know someone has a talent, right? And how do the two align?
Impression. I always say when the person leaves the room, the brand stays. So I can walk in with this water bottle and I can tell you it's the best water in the world. And I can say, yeah, try it out. When I leave, you might try it. And if it sucks,
Right.
then that is what I've left behind. I
Right.
left behind a terrible brand, a terrible
That
product.
is such
But-
a great way to explain
Yeah,
it.
but if you like it, you're gonna call me and be like, this is the best one I've
Right.
ever had. So I
Right.
left, the person left that sold you on the product, right? But what left the impression was not the product anymore. It's now a brand
Right.
because it left an impression on you. You know, the way that shoes feel, you know, that is what creates a brand. A brand is an identity.
Yeah.
It's just an identity. It's an identity that has the ability to leave an impression on you.
Right.
And
But
that's what
what
separates
is
brands
that
from products.
magic, that magic touch that does leave the impression upon you? Like, is it, is a brand a collection of stories?
How it makes you feel. Because
Okay.
as people, we're all empaths. All we are as people are just capsules of emotions.
Yeah.
And brands connect with our emotions.
Yeah.
With anything that doesn't make you remember how you feel is obviously completely forgettable. But let's digest what that really means. When you put on your favorite shirt, you like how that shirt makes you look. And so that makes you feel good. When you listen to your favorite song, there's a reason why that's your favorite song. It directly associates with how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
So it's memorable. All things that are important to us as human beings and that make the world go around are brands. And brands' jobs are to connect with the emotions of people.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's so true, especially, when it comes to music and musicians and that emotional grab that you have with, and the power of what music is about and the people who are creating the music. So how do you let's talk about Cordae, right?
Yeah.
Because, he's cool. He's in,
Yeah.
he's Grammy nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Several times, yeah.
Yeah. Several times over.
Oh, Emmy Award-winning too.
Emmy, what?
Yeah, we just won an Emmy.
For what?
So a year ago, the Obamas did a Netflix
I remember
special.
this.
And it was essentially, it was predicated and intentionally created to be a modern day Schoolhouse Rock. Schoolhouse Rock was it's been around for 40, 50 years,
Kind
maybe
of a
even
long
longer
time.
than that. Yeah, excuse me. And so their whole idea was to take modern artists, but educate young people on various topics of society that surround us and create in politics, economics,
Social, probably.
social,
Yeah.
all
All
those
the
different
things.
types of topics
Yeah.
of discussion that surround our everyday life. And our topic of discussion that we had to make a song for, the song was called Taxes. So obviously it was about taxes. And
Sounds delightful.
and the project was Emmy nominated, and then it won an Emmy. I forget the category. I think it was for best.
That is so
I think it was
great.
for best animated musical or something like that. Yeah, we won an Emmy. So the trophy, the hardware, I would say, just came in about 7 months ago. So it was really cool because one of our goals is to be an EGOT winner.
Yeah.
We want to win an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony Award.
Yeah. So you're 2 down, right? Oh, you
We will be. Yeah,
You will be.
we're 5-time Grammy nominated, Emmy Award winning. It sounds great, but for what our goal is, we have to win, not just get nominations.
Yeah.
So it's in the future.
Yeah. So how do you since you're a kingmaker, brand builder, how do you find what is it, right, that makes an artist great, right? Like, how do you spot talent? How do you know that somebody has that thing that's going to be something special and impact an audience?
I think how they make me feel. I think their personality,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Having a conversation with them, seeing if there's that spark, that excitement about what they do and about life, or even just a level of extreme unapologetic transparency about how much they hate their life
Right.
and how depressing their life is,
Right.
or how much they hate their situation and how what they do is so stressful. Just a level of transparency and fearlessness that as normal people, we just, even though we possess it, we run away from it.
Yeah.
Because on the other side of our fears as people are our greatest results.
Yeah. Success.
Absolutely. And when I see an artist going after that, either in the lyrics of their music, in the risque and progression of their production, or on stage, just leaving it all out there, whether it's 5 people or whether it's 5,000, they're real life superheroes.
Yeah.
That's the scariest job in the world, is to put your talent on display for judgment and criticism.
Yeah.
Every single
You're
time.
putting your whole self out there.
Every single time that you operate in your job field to make money as an artist, you're putting yourself out there vulnerably for judgment. And it's the only job in the world where you only get paid well and get booked and are in demand if you're willing to put yourself out there for people to criticize you.
Yeah.
That's the reality. You know,
It's hardcore.
entertainers, they have the hardest jobs in the world. And the irony is that everybody wants to be one, but no one sees what they go through. You only see the examples of success and what that looks like when the lights and the cameras are on.
Yeah.
No one knows what it's like when you're just them behind closed doors. It's the worst job in the world. I don't want that for anybody. No, and that's why I wanted to do what I do, to protect them.
Right.
That is how I got here.
When you're working with artists who maybe, haven't gotten past that first, that layer of fear that you were talking about, how do you get them through that, right? How do you push them past the fear into the success area?
By having the same conversation you and I are having right now. And also by striking a little bit more fear in them by saying, look, you can't go work a 9 to 5.
Right.
People know you already.
Right.
So you're either in or you're out. Right. You're just famous enough where you're never going to be able to go work a 9 to 5 and expect to have a happy life, because you're going to be constantly recognized and reminded of who they know you to be.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? You want to go all in on this and create the life that you imagined because you started it. You started it and it's been working. But the only way that you're going to achieve the highest heights and reach the pinnacle that you truly envisioned when you started this. And mind you, this is something that you love. Don't forget that. This is something you love and you were blessed with this talent.
Yeah.
So don't allow your fears to shy you away and to steer you in the other direction. There is no other way.
There is no other way.
You have to go through it now.
Yeah.
You have to go through it. So that level of fear, that also comes with a dose of honesty. I usually have that conversation with them. And it has to be revisited and reiterated over and over. It'll happen with a song where it's very, very vulnerable and honest and they're fearful to put that out. Or it might happen with an outfit. It could happen with a set design. It could happen with an interview or a podcast where instead of briefing the interview, I say, look, don't do that. Go out there and you don't need media training. Yeah. You're the media training. Be yourself, your honesty.
Yeah.
What you say is what's going to connect, because there are a million people who are just as fearful as you. Yeah. But they need to know that with the success, the fame, and the platform that you have, that if they're having the same exact issues and life experiences, that they're going to be okay. Yeah. And that is your job as an artist. You're a leader. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad used to have this saying, if we were scared of something or going on stage or performing in some, racing motorcycles, whatever it was, he used to say, and my apologies in advance here, he used to say, climb the goddamn mountain.
Oh, he's heard way worse shit.
Okay, thank God. Well, yeah.
I'm from Boston.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He's heard way worse shit.
Yeah, so, I think it's like that whole idea of just on the other side of, your fear is your success is very easy to say, but it's, a whole other deal to try to do it.
And it's funny, right? Because as I'm looking at my son, kids are...
He's rolling his eyes at you, by the way.
Kids are pure, right? So I'll play music and I know what good music is by what he likes, even, because they don't need to know why they like music. Yeah. They just know they like it. So that is pure exemplification of what I said, where music just connects with the soul, connects with the spirit. Right. And it can make you sad, it can make you happy. Sometimes you need depressing... This is like from the movie Trolls, it's funny. Sometimes you need depressing music because you need to feel... Right. You need to recognize that you are depressed. Yeah. And that music kind of makes you feel good in the moment, Yeah. So yeah, I think it's all interrelated to just a feeling. Yeah. And when I see an artist, when I talk to an artist, how they make me feel is how I know that they're a star.
Yeah. And and that becomes their brand.
Absolutely.
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the podcast that I watched last night, which was you talking about leveraging relationships in your business and how like that. It's the first time I've ever been kind of immersed. It was a really good interview, by the way.
Yeah, thank you.
Like what it means to leverage relationships, because entrepreneurs are out there, what does that even mean? How do you leverage your relationship? Sometimes people are afraid to ask, ask for something.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Good people don't actually feel good taking things from other people.
Yep.
Even when you know that offering is coming from a good person. No, I can't take that. No, I don't need it.
Yeah.
No, I don't want that. But giving makes you feel awesome. That there's something divine in the polarity of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it tells you how we were created and what we were created for. We're here to provide. We're here to give.
Right.
And the more you give, the better you feel and the more impact you make and the more you leave behind. Because when we die, you don't take anything with you.
Yeah.
So no thing will make you happy in reality. You know what I mean? It's all of the things that money can't buy. Giving, selflessness, seeing people happy, spreading positivity, being dependable. These are the type of things that make me happy. These are the type of things that make the world go round for the better. And when you think about the people that you like and that you enjoy being around, or the people who've left an impression on you, they embody some, or if not all, of those characteristic traits.
Yeah.
It's just the reality. That's kind of those are my North Stars.
How do you keep that, that spirit, of giving and selflessness, vulnerability in an industry that is notorious for taking?
Well, I have an unwavering level of confidence too. I'm just going to be honest. Like,
I get that.
I was an athlete. So like, I believe in myself and I don't believe that anyone can take anything from me. So
but what about your artists, the artists that you're managing?
They usually don't.
Yeah.
I think, but they also have an extreme level of fearlessness that I still can't relate to.
Yeah.
And confidence and fearlessness are not the same thing.
No, they're
not. They exist kind of under the same umbrella, but they're not the same thing.
They're not.
So I give them the level of confidence that I have. And I try to instill it in them with all of our conversations and how much I believe in them. So that they can take the level of fearlessness that they've already managed to conquer and make that song or say those words or, wear that outfit or perform like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the balance that I try to bring with those I work with, not just artists, but anyone I work with. Yeah, honestly. Like just, that's how that, and I don't worry about what this industry per se.
I don't think if you do that, you're kind of like, you're going to be setting yourself up for trouble. Like if you care too much about it, no matter if it's music or if it's food and beverage or whatever it is. And, like just in closing, first of all, you have been so generous with your spirit and your advice and your journey.
Thank you.
For the entrepreneurs who are listening out there, can you from what you've learned in your experience, what is your, the greatest chunk of wisdom you can give entrepreneurs and creators, artists, innovators, dreamers, seekers?
Make sure that if you want to be an entrepreneur, right, that you're not thinking about money first.
That is so profound.
Because if you care so much about money, you should go get a job because you'll always have money.
Yeah.
Go work for someone. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you're trying to create, do not do it for money as the ethos.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go through moments where the money does not flow in the same. You're going to go through some moments where the money might stop flowing. You're going to go through moments where the money's flowing, but you got to reinvest it back in. You're also going to go through moments where you have to borrow money to help build the business back up or to scale the business. And you might end up owing more money than what you're generating. Money is currency. It flows like current. There's never a shortage of money in the world. So you're never going to have enough of it if that is the reason why you start being an entrepreneur. Become an entrepreneur for a purpose and make sure that whatever it is that you're trying to do or create or build, that you feel that spark, that excitement every day when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to keep you going when you go through the hard times, the tribulations, and when things like finances primarily go up and go down. You're going to care about what it is you're doing, what it is you're providing. It's literally just a journey. There's never going to be a finish line.
Yeah.
You know?
It is so important to like that whole, you know, it all is related to what you start. Like you are, I believe, born an entrepreneur, that fire in your belly. And if you are chasing money as an entrepreneur,
you're gonna be running forever.
Yeah. You're setting yourself up for
well, and then once you catch money, you start chasing more money.
Right.
You know,
and
money's gonna
the goal.
Yeah, money's gonna keep running. So
Yeah.
you're just gonna keep on chasing
Yeah.
it. It can't be about money. And honestly, the people who have acquired real wealth, right? Now, I didn't say riches, right? Wealth. The people who have acquired real wealth realize that no amount of money will make you happy.
No.
It can keep you from being depressed. It can keep you from being unhappy, but it'll never get you true happiness. You have to have a reason and a purpose behind what you do.
Yeah.
There has to be a reason behind it. And when you discover that reason, that is where happiness lies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
So I've never cared just about money. I care about wealth, right? And happiness is the greatest part of what makes someone wealthy. I try to make sure that I only do things and align myself with things that truly make me happy. Because no matter what my financial position is in life, I know that I have something that the majority of people won't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also know that I have something I can give. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
And it's like for someone who is so young and just at the beginning of your, you know, what's going to be a long, productive career, that is very wise to go into this, you know, with an understanding and
a definition. Did I articulate that right? I feel like
you did.
Did I?
It was powerful because wealth is not money, right? Wealth is something else entirely, and it has much more to do with well-being.
It's what you don't see.
It's what you don't see.
It's what you don't see. Wealth is what you don't see.
And once you find it, you never want to let it go.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with money.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So thank you so much,
Thank
Ace
you.
Christian, for
Thank
sitting
you.
on the purple couch with Caden, the awesome troll
anything?
hunter.
Caden,
Any parting words of wisdom, Caden?
You want to say anything to people?
No. Are you done with the couch?
What's happening? What are you doing today?
Um,
Speaking the mic. Tell everyone what you're doing today.
I don't know.
What are we doing today for school?
Graduating.
That's right.
For real? Today?
Graduating today. Yep.
Congratulations.
Graduating from preschool. And what are you graduating to?
For kindergarten.
Is that happening in the summer?
5 p.m.
Oh
5
my
p.m.
God.
today.
That's happening today? Are you going to get you know, a wardrobe
He has
change?
a cap and gown. Yep. He has a blue cap and gown.
Wow. That's the story of the day.
Yeah. You excited? All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for coming by.
Thank you.